Diamond Head Water and Sewer District for July 13th, 2023 at 4 p.m. to order. All those that are willing and able, please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. First order of business, can we have a roll call, Ms. Tony?
Chairman Brian Griffith,
Brian Griffith,
Yes, here.
Vice Chairman Ben Taylor,
Here.
Treasurer Louis Ertel,
here.
Commissioner Mark Bisecker,
Here.
and Commissioner Arlen Griffey.
Right here.
Thank you.
Okay, the first order of business is to approve the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Is that Mr. Taylor?
It's Mr. Griffith first.
Okay, Mr. Griffith is the second on that. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Mr. Chairman,
Unanimous?
I apologize. Due to the fact that we have 3 participants via phone, we need to do roll call on all votes for the minutes. So it's gonna take a little bit
Okay.
longer, but it'll be a lot cleaner at the end.
No problem. So, I don't know if you guys heard that, but the idea is to call each of you by name on the approvals and the seconds. So we had, or the approvals rather, not the seconds, but the approvals, so we know exactly everybody is involved in that. Okay, so for the next item of business, public comments. Were there any public comments, Ms. Tony?
No, sir.
Okay, there being no public comments, let's move on to the minutes.
Yep.
A motion to approve the minutes for the regular meeting held on June 22nd, 2023.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Taylor.
Mr. Taylor, thank you. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, say aye.
Can I get a roll call, please?
Aye. Taylor. Bisecker. Griffith.
Ertel.
Griffey, aye.
Thank you.
So it's approved unanimously. Moving on to the general manager's report.
Yes, sir. Starting with the elevated water tank project. This past week, Chicago Bridge and Iron, the contractor, has been working on some of the punch list items. Punch list and fence contractor is to finish installing the fence and work on the front gate in the upcoming days due to some minor damage that were caused by one of the contractors backing into it with a piece of equipment. So we'll get that repaired soon. Water System Improvement Project Phase 2, CB Developers continues to make hot taps, cut-ins, tie-ins, and cut and cap some of the old lines. In the upcoming days, the contractor plans to shut down the existing water main to tie in and cut and cap along Mauna Loa, install the fire hydrant connection at Golf Club Drive, and continue to add sod where needed. Water System Improvements Project Phase 3, the project is currently at approximately 86% complete. All HDD and open cut installations are complete. The 8-inch mains are 100% tested and active, and the 6-inch mains are 75% tested and active. Service connections are 55% complete. Fire hydrants are 98% complete. In the coming weeks, crews will be installing hot taps and continue test and flush the mains throughout the project. 5 hot taps are scheduled to be installed tomorrow, 7/13. Sewer Improvements Project Basins 13, 16, 17. DNA Construction has completed all of the underground work except for about 1,500 feet of force main along Diamond Head Drive East. Contractor has been laying sod and replacing broken driveways for the previous 2 weeks. In the coming weeks, contractor is expected to continue laying sod and begin working on Diamond Head Drive East force main. This project is about 57% complete. We had no abandonment of easements request at this meeting. The drainage ditch at the Colo Court site is holding. As I mentioned in the last meeting, there is some sign of erosion occurring, especially on the north end of the ditch, which has now exposed a portion of the ductile iron pipe crossing the ditch. Hopefully, we'll get some updates on their proposed project soon, but I have not received any yet. Makiki Drainage Project, we were talking about for so long. I received some construction drawings just today. I've not had time to review them, obviously, but there is a plan in place for them to do something with that road closed out there with the conflict box. And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Mr. Carden?
That riprap, in your notes it says the riprap was dislodged and moved downstream. Is that unusual? Isn't that pretty big rock?
Yeah, yes, sir. That's a large velocity
Yeah.
of water coming through there, which I've addressed with their engineers in their plans and asked them to look at considering velocity dams or water dams along that route upstream from this area.
To slow the water.
Because it's just so massive, it actually will move that riprap.
It's water hammer.
Oh, it's serious.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Was there more?
Not from me.
Any other questions for Mr. Carden? Okay.
This is Griffith. Yes, I have a couple of questions. Dave, is the new water tank, water tower impacting volume and flow yet in the loop?
No, there's not really, I mean, it's online. We still haven't worked out all the kinks with the controls and such and the levels, but we're working on that right now, so not fully at this time.
I've been approached by a couple of folks on Mauna Lua who have had intermittent periods of low pressure, and they were just asking me if that system was going to be coming online soon that would possibly improve the PSI.
We can take a look
Have
at
you heard
that.
of issue before?
Their issues are probably due to the flushing and testing that are going on with the new mains in that area. It's directly
Okay.
connected to that Mauna Lua loop.
That would actually make sense then.
Yes, sir. But I don't think they'll see an impact. They probably won't see an impact from the water tower.
They were smart enough to anticipate that there may be some system improvements consequent to the second water tower.
No, sir, it will not change any pressure situations. This tower and the pre-existing tower are designed to be equalized and balanced with no separate zones.
Right.
So
I
it
realize
shouldn't.
there would be a separation. I was thinking if there was a lessening of capacity, hence why we built the tower,
Mhm.
to meet the fire code, especially with new commercial district, that there would be at least an endurance performance improvement.
Yes, sir, it would. But
But nonetheless, what is our metric? What is our standard up to and not less than at the meter?
Talking about pressure?
it would depend on the elevation at that site that we're talking about.
What do you strive for?
There are some places with as low as 40 PSI along Golf Club at the higher points. There are places on the south side as high as 70 to 72 pounds of pressure because of the lower elevation.
Okay.
Gravity flow from towers, right?
Yes, sir. That's how this system operates. Lower the elevation, the better pressure you're going to have. But the maximum is around 71 to 72.
Any other questions?
I do have one question, but it's probably odd. If somebody had a low water pressure, call it 35, is there some method that you could employ or that they could pay for or do that would raise it to some higher number?
There are always options such as booster pumps,
Okay.
individual booster.
So I could purchase a booster
Yes,
pump
sir.
perhaps? Okay, thank you.
Get a reputable plumber to look at it.
Well,
and-
there's your problem. You said
and put in
reputable.
a booster, small booster pump. They're relatively inexpensive. And, you know, a lot of people misconstrue volume with pressure.
Please explain slightly.
Sometimes they'll have a volume issue, and they're saying they have a pressure issue, but we'll go out and it's actually just the volume. But the pressure is the same. They're not getting enough volume, especially if they're running a lawn irrigation system and such, which is taken away from their volume
There's not enough water available, right?
in their piping.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Several different situations. And, you know, in Diamond Head, as you know, the hills, the high points are going to have the lowest pressure. For example, at the bottom of Tower 1, at the base, we're producing about 40 psi.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Carden? Okay, moving on to construction and engineering projects. 6.1, sewer improvements, Phase 1 and 2, Basins 13, 16, 17 project. 6.1.A, motion to approve Suncoast Infrastructure Pay App number 13 in the amount of $233,456.42 for the time period of May 1st, 2023 through May 31st, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $2,821,524.78 on this contract.
So moved.
Could I get a second?
Griffith, second.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Any discussion?
Can
There
I get a
being no,
roll call, please? Can I get a roll call, please? Griffith? Chairman Griffith?
I'm sorry, you're making a roll call vote?
Yeah, looking for an aye or an A.
Roll call, I need an aye or a nay. Griffith?
Yes, I don't know why you fade out every now and then on me, but yes, Griffith, yes.
Mr.
Taylor?
Taylor?
Taylor, yes.
Ertel?
Yes.
Bisecker?
Mr. Bisecker?
Sorry, I had it on mute. Aye.
Griffey?
Aye.
Thank you.
That being unanimous, the motion carries. 6.1.B, motion to approve Seymour Engineering invoice number 8796 in the amount of $42,100 for the time period of May 28th, 2023 through June 24th, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $216,350 on this contract. Could I get a motion?
So moved. Bisecker.
Thank you, Mr. Bisecker. A second?
Taylor, second.
Mr. Taylor, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Sorry about that. That's why I had it on mute.
No problem. Any discussion? There being none, could we get a roll call vote on this?
Griffith?
Aye.
Taylor?
Aye.
Ertel?
Aye.
Bisecker?
Aye.
Griffey?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. 6.2, Water System Rehab Phase 1 Project New Water Tower. 6.2.A, motion to approve substantial completion for the elevated storage tank project as of June 19th, 2023, and to authorize the chairman to execute same.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second, Bisecker.
Thank you, Mr. Bisecker. All those in favor, can we have a roll call?
Griffith?
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion approved unanimously. 6.3, nothing to discuss there. 6.4, Water System Rehab Phase 3 Project. 6.4.A, motion to approve DNA Underground Pay App Number 12 in the amount of $86,085.66 for the time period of April 22nd, 2023 through May 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $645,360.63 on this contract. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Bisecker.
Thank you, Mr. Bisecker. May I have a second?
Griffin, second.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. We have a roll call vote, please.
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
and Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion is approved unanimously. 6.4.B, motion to approve DNA Underground Pay App Number 13 in the amount of $75,139.26 for the time period of May 21st, 2023 through June 30th, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $570,221.37 on this contract. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
A second?
Second, Bisecker.
Thank you, Mr. Bisecker. Any discussion? There being no discussion, can we have a roll call vote?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
and Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion is approved unanimously. 6.4.C, motion to approve Seymour Engineering invoice number 8797 in the amount of $23,000 for the time period of May 28th, 2023 through June 24th, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $52,000 on this contract. May I get a motion?
Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Can I get a second?
Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? There being none, can we get a roll call vote on this motion?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion is approved unanimously. 6.5A, Water Tower Number 1 Exterior Painting Project. Motion to spread upon the minutes the executed tank pro change order number 1 approved by the board on June 22, 2023. Can I get a motion?
Griffin. Taylor.
Mr. Griffith and Mr. Taylor is the second.
That'll work.
Any discussion? There being none, can I get a roll call vote on this motion?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion is approved unanimously. There's nothing on the MDOT roundabout utility relocation project. 6.7, lift station number 9 improvement project. 6.7.A, motion to approve Seymour Engineering invoice number 8798 in the amount of $1,875 for the time period of May 28th, 2023 through June 24th, 2023, leaving a remaining balance of $2,500 on this project.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Taylor, Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
But
Any discussion? There being no discussion, can I get a roll call vote on this?
Griffith,
aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 7, Financial. 7.1, the docket of claims and financial reports. 7.1.A. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of the docket of claims in the total amount of $209,334.48 as attached hereto? Can I get a motion?
Griffin.
Mr. Griffith, thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Moved. Bisecker.
Thank you, Mr. Bisecker. Any discussion? There being none, can we have a roll call vote?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
and Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. 7.1.B, motion to acknowledge payment of the unapproved docket of claims as detailed in Section 6 in the total amount of $461,656.34 as attached hereto. Can I get a motion?
Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Can I get a second?
Griffin.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Any discussion? There being none, can we have a roll call vote?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. 7.1.C, motion to approve payment of the customer deposit refund register in the total amount of $822.16 is attached hereto. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. Can I get a second?
Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Any discussion? There being none, can we have a roll call vote on this?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. 7.1.D, Treasurer's Report.
Thank you. Our available bank balance as of June 30th, 2023 was $11,117,260.12. Of this available cash, $8,644,857 is budgeted in 5-year CIP. $1,813,679 is for operating and maintenance, and the remaining $658,724 is emergency reserve. Our bond principal debt balance is $19,821,000. Our bad debt transfers for the month are $259.44, and year-to-date are $876.61. Our total revenues are at 77%, which is above budget for the year due to higher non-operating revenues than expected. However, operating revenues are at 71%, which is below the projected budget. The June bill cycle indicates an 8% increase in operating revenue for last month and a 4% increase in operating revenue from the same time last year. Our total expenses are at 74%, which is slightly below budget for the year. Our operating ratio goal is 1.10, and we're at 1.71. Our debt ratio goal is 1.25, and we're at 4.71. Our CIP project spending is currently at 54%, which is below budget for the year. However, 98% of the budgeted CIP is currently under design or construction. And to give the board an update, Dr. Alan Bearfield is currently working on our 2023-2024 rate study, and we have provided information to him to get started, and he'll be working over that over the next month or so. On the agenda tonight, we have requested an amended fiscal year 22-23 budget, which is an increase of the net surplus of $15,769, and we can discuss a little more detail during that motion if the board has questions. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, Ms. Tony. Okay, moving forward, 7.1.F, the motion to approve the revised fiscal year 2022-2023 budget to increase the net surplus by $15,769 as amended and attached here too.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Griffith.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Any discussion? There being none, can I get a roll call?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Here. Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
and Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Tony, is that the end of the financials?
Yes.
Thank you. Is there any old business?
None.
There being none, any new business or discussion items?
I would like to mention one, sir.
Yes.
We sent a letter to the city of Diamond Head this week regarding the dog park location that they're proposing to construct real soon, apparently. The fact being that there's a sewer main involved with that property as well as a sewer manhole structure. So if there's any discussions or any questions regarding that way, just let me know. But I had sent that letter to notify the city that that existed and make them aware of the situation of building that pier and that dog park over top of that sewer main.
That manhole cover, it is at a low spot, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Compared to where that lift station is.
Yes, sir. We've taken great strides at rerouting piping, as you know, in our projects, obviously, to try and alleviate some of the pressures on that area. When we get inundated with flooded streets and such, you know, it's going to that lift station. So that's the transmission line that gets it there. One of the 3 or 4 transmission lines that gets it there. So I wanted to make them aware of that situation before they move any further on that project.
What would our options be to do
There's
something
no
there?
option in moving a gravity sewer line,
So that's it.
especially next to a lake. There's
Mhm.
no land to maneuver. There's no, you know, it's all coming to that point
Yeah.
from a basin area. So, you know, it's been there since the beginning of the infrastructure.
Ms. Fish.
We had, David and I discussed this earlier in the week, and we posed a letter of notice to the city that was not, it was just informative, because the problem is with these utilities, and particularly with gravity lines, we can't move them. And the likelihood of heavy rainfall events or something like that that would cause an overflow is likely. But as I understand it, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, the proposed pier would be directly over. So if something happens and we gotta get in there, we're gonna tear stuff up. That's the nature of the beast. People know that, like, if you've got a fence on your right of way, we may tear that fence up at some point. But when you start talking about an entire park and things like that, that's gonna start getting into money. And so the district certainly has there's an assumption of the risk when you build on top of a utilities by the person building. And so there needed to be notice provided, because apparently at the last council meeting, there's a great deal of discussion about the park and commencement and et cetera.
What structure are they planning
Fishing pier
that will go right over top of the,
with concrete piers that are obviously.
But I mean, as long as if they made a large access cover on the pier over top with that, no, that doesn't alleviate, doesn't mitigate?
If we ever had to excavate there,
Right.
it's a deep
I
excavation.
don't know. You
We
never know.
don't- you never know,
You
right.
know,
You don't
We-
have the crystal ball to determine how.
What's gonna happen?
You might be nothing, or it could be something extreme. And if the city wants to proceed,
Yeah.
that's okay too.
Proceed at risk, right?
Right.
That's all. We're just letting them know that, be aware that exists.
Yeah.
And-
Well, you know, Murphy's Law says if you build a structure over a utility, the utility has to get in there at some point. But it'd be all right.
Yeah, that's our position, just letting them know, be
Yeah.
aware what we have. I just wanted to mention that to you guys.
I appreciate that, Mr. Carden. Any other
Yeah.
questions or discussions?
I have one thing. It's I don't even know if it's informative, but for whatever reason, at the July 1st fireworks celebration, you know, we had the VFW out there, and I had a group of citizens. I don't know. They didn't have pitchforks and torches, so I'm not sure what they were doing. But they came to me about the painting the water tower. It should be painted a golf ball. It should be this. It should be that. I don't know. And my answer was, just so everybody here knows full disclosure, I said, well, we think it's about $100,000 to paint it. Someone start a fund, raise the money, and then petition us, and I think we would look at that favorably. That didn't go over very well.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what our discussion on that, quite honestly, was that
We didn't mind. We didn't have no money.
who,
Yeah.
no, our discussion was, do you do a golf ball? What if somebody wants to paint marijuana leaves on it? Where do you stop and where do you start
It's
from
up
that?
to you
That's-
guys. You're the board. It's your water
that's
tower.
it.
So
Yeah,
I think
You
we
know.
wait for a proposal to
whether we
evaluate.
pay for it or someone else pays for
The-
it,
the-
somebody's got to pay for it.
Somebody's gotta pay for it, number one. Number two, and a bigger problem is, so you have a group of 5 or 10
Yeah,
that say, I've
it
got
was.
$100,000, and they bring it with this proposal. As you can see, Mr. Pellegrin's the only person that ever comes to a meeting. We've already posted, we did notices for these projects. We're never going to satisfy everybody.
No.
And so, public participation,
There was 5 to 8 people. One of them wanted to put a picture of a dog. They may have been drinking, but one of them wanted to put a picture of a dog. May or may not. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I can't evaluate. But that's what I told them. Somebody go raise the money and bring us a petition. And
Yeah, and you know,
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I said when that came up several meetings back or several months,
Yeah.
whatever it was, you know, that estimate was for block lettering
Right.
the word City of Diamond Head, or, you know, so it's proportionate to the size of the tank. And, you know, cat's out of the bag, so to speak, with the estimate, so it's gotta go through a bid process, state law. Now that they've heard the estimate, all the contractors are gonna be aware of where they're starting at. See
Well,
what I'm saying?
I mean, we would take the best bid if that moved forward.
Yeah, I would suggest, you know, an advertising or maintenance agreement monthly, as well as an annual cleaning agreement and a 10-year repainting job, because we'll have to
That would
repaint
be
it
part of it, yeah.
10 to 12, or
Yeah.
hopefully with this new Tenemic coating, it'll be
Tenemic.
15 years.
Help me understand Tenemic.
It's the name of the coating. It's an industrial coating that was rolled on. Again, that's another issue. It wasn't sprayed. It was rolled on.
That's interesting.
The whole tower, both towers were hand rolled with the paint job.
Sir?
Oh yeah, it's like the best on the market in industrial coating for that application.
I don't have anything else.
We're expecting to get about 15 years out of the paint job. I think we got, Brett, 12 out of the last ones, correct me if I'm wrong, 12.
any other discussions?
No, but this is, Mr. Griffith, I want to speak to that one in just a minute. So, you know, this issue's never going to go away.
No.
For the 5 to 8, thing to meet you every now and then. But the fact of the matter remains, it's just incredulous to me that people have this idea that there's just, it doesn't matter. You know, I want a golf ball, I want City of Diamond Head, I want all these things. Just reach in your pocket and spend $100,000. What has never conveyed, even dating all the way back to the communications we tried to put in place leading up to the, you know, to the vote for consolidation is we're tens and tens of millions of dollars short fixing the system so that it does not collapse around their ears, right? So anything, this is Mr. Griffith, anything that is consequent to the aesthetics on the tank or anything else needs to come from another source of income.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we would not divert a dime away of trying to keep something from collapsing around their ears, in my opinion. And certainly how we vote every time. There are monies for those that'll be likened to try to catch them as they come on and go. You know, there's always economic development monies that look for something that is snatch and grab for getting more business come off 510 and what have you. I'm still not going to, I'm like Commissioner Ortell, that we dismissed that golf ball, marijuana leaf, whatever. That's not going to happen. But even coming back to the city of Diamond Head, where Diamond Head will say, we're just not capturing enough as a consequence, they can grant bids for assistance from those platforms anytime they want to. And they might catch lightning in a bottle. But at that point in time, they're going to bring a value that has to equal, they've got to bring money that got to equal the cost of the agreed to modification to the tank. Just need to start to narrow these conversations down to one that's sensical for these folks.
Along that line, I'd like to add, if I may,
Yes,
over the
Mr.
last couple of years, we have exhausted all efforts in reaching out to our state level and city and county level politicians. And I can say today, to this date, we have received zero help with funding. We have explained to our politicians that we have bond money, that we could help leverage these grants. We could expand this projects tenfold if we would get some help. I have had countless meetings, all the way up to the heads of departments. I have, me and the team have done everything we can possibly do. We hired a grant company to specifically search out any eligibility we may have. We were turned down on every corner. We did not receive ARPA funds because no one wanted us to be part of their little party, for lack of better terms. So I'm here to tell you, we did all of these projects, $21 million on our own, on the district's own. We did receive 2 years ago a DMR grant that Mark Seymour and I applied for a year prior for $830,000 for sewer improvements. We had already spent the project, done the projects, completed the projects, had the lift station built on EWA, and solved those problems, but we did use that money to help pay some of those costs. Other than that, we received zero to this date. We are still all but begging, maybe begging, to try and receive help from the politicians, all the way to the state level.
We do that.
So-
We say we have no pride. I would like to, I want to tag
Sure,
on
go ahead.
that, because it is horrible. We have gone and begged. We said, we have money, we will pay your match. Just get us a ticket to the dance, and they ignored us. And these people come now, and I say this to you because I'm not advocating anything other than in 3 weeks you're going to the ballot, and people you know are going to the ballot. And this district is the only district that I'm aware of in the coastal counties that has been completely ostracized and left with zero. Not a dime. And that's not right. And that pier we were talking about for a dog park is a Tidelands grant.
Is a what?
Is a Tidelands grant.
Sounds like it.
I don't think so.
So the people you said you reached out to at the state level, talking about Tony Moran and Jay McKnight, got no response.
Who would be the people that could help us the most? I mean, what's senators? Well, I gotta be honest, when y'all say these things, I believe you, but it's amorphous. It's like, I mean, where's the lever? Where's the handle? What's the thing? Is it,
Let's talk about it.
yeah,
Let's take it specific. So the ARPA money.
yeah.
came with COVID.
That was interesting.
Yes, it was.
$1.5 million.
Right.
And what they, and then the individual cities.
Everybody back online?
Yes, sir.
Great. Any more discussion?
Now, we can take this offline.
Any more discussion? Okay.
Now, I would just say on the water tank, the election season is almost over with, we kind of missed the chance to capitalize. I don't know if Cody left any billboards out there.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Appreciate that. Okay, the next meeting of the Board of Commissioners is scheduled for July 27th, 2023, at 4 p.m. at the Diamond Head City Hall, Chancel Chambers, 5000 Diamond Head Circle, Diamond Head, Mississippi. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Griffith.
Thank you, Mr. Griffith. Can I get a roll call vote, please?
Griffith,
Aye.
Taylor,
Aye.
Ertel,
Aye.
Bisecker,
Aye.
Griffey.
Aye.
Thank you.
All, that being unanimous, the motion carries unanimously.